What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update. Going to go into the last 24 hours of Tottenham news, touching on a few bits on the international break as well. And we're going to start off talking about Cuti Romero, as reports in Argentina say that Cuti Romero is expected just to play one of Argentina's World Cup qualifiers against Brazil or Uruguay. They're not sure which one they're going to play yet. However, TNT Argentina are reporting as well that Real Madrid are interested in signing Argentine duo Enzo Fernandez and Cuti Romero in the next transfer window.
Yeah, first of all, on the international break, that's good news. Means they're managing him, which also goes to show that that's what Ange's been doing as well over the last, obviously, few games. He only played an hour against Fulham after playing 90 against RZ on Thursday, and clearly Argentina feel like he's not in a position to play 290 minutes. So I think that proves, he is being managed, and he isn't just getting fit just for Argentina, potentially anyway, if that's what people are accusing him of.
Big games as well for Argentina.
Very
Brazil
big games.
And Uruguay.
Yeah, I bet you it's a Brazil game he plays anyway. But in terms of Madrid being interested in him, I think he's going to have to show in the last bit of the season that he's worthy of that move right now, because he hasn't had a good season, let's be honest. I know he's been injured for a lot of it, but when he has played, he hasn't been quite Madrid standard, let's say. I know maybe a part of that as well was just the team he's in, of course. I don't disagree with that. But I don't think if on the current showing, Madrid are going to be shelling out massive money right now for him, and there's probably other options right now. So I think he's going to have a really good end to the season. If he does, then maybe Madrid can justify spending that big money. But I think at the moment, considering he's, 27? I know, look, for me, he's a brilliant defender. For me, he is good enough to play for Real Madrid. I genuinely believe that. But at the end of the day, has he shown that, especially over the last year for Tottenham? Probably not. So I don't know if Madrid would spend that big money on him if he continues to play like he has done.
Do you not think there'll be a sentiment saying, yeah, well, maybe he hasn't been at his greatest for Spurs, but you look at the kind of situation surrounding Spurs and they just haven't been in a great way for a while. When you're looking at his performances for Argentina, he has always kept up those standards in maybe a team that's kind of functioning very well.
I'm saying for me, I agree with that. I'm
saying from a Real Madrid perspective.
I don't know. That's my only point. I think you're talking about big money here for him. So I think he's going to I think he's going to have to show it a bit more consistently over these last couple months to show that he can get back to that level, because he just hasn't been that level. I know, look, to be fair, since he's come back from injury, he's been pretty good. But I think he's going to have a really good last couple months of the season. I'm not convinced that Madrid are going to be sniffing around him just at this current moment.
Well, that's not what TNT Argentina say. I'm not sure how reliable they are, but TNT Sport is...
Yeah, they're going to be backing up their own guy, aren't they? As I say, in Argentina, I bet you all Argentina think he should be playing for Real Madrid. I don't deny that.
There was another report that says that Spurs and Cuti Romero are going to be set for showdown talks this summer regarding his contract, because obviously we know the contract situation. In the summer, it'll be 2 years left on his deal, and if he refuses to sign that contract, then Spurs are going to try their best to sell him this summer.
If he refuses to sign it, then yeah, that's what we've done previously. So I'd also think that's probably the case. I think if we fail to get Europe, which is not unlikely at this point, I think he will be questioning whoever he wants to stay here and whether he wants to sign this new contract. So that doesn't surprise me. And I think Tottenham will be open to selling him if that's the case, yeah.
Yeah, I can't really see a situation come now till the end of the season where Romero goes, all right, yeah, this club are going in the right direction. I want to put my future on the line here.
Just if we have a really good end to the season, we win the Europa League.
Yeah. That's an unlikely scenario, but that is pretty much the only scenario if we win the Europa League. And even then, it's probably a question of if he puts pen to paper.
Yeah, I think it's more down to be honest, that situation's more down to how the club is run from the hierarchy, rather more than anything else, as to why he wouldn't want to stay. Yeah,
and we've known he's had issues with it in the past. So I mean, can you really see too much changing from now to the end of the season?
I think it's unlikely, but football, things change very quickly in football.
Next up, we're going to be talking about Lucas Bergvall, as Sweden boss John Dahl Tomasson said today that we are one player short today. We'll see how he feels tomorrow. He's got a cold and he's not in top form. Now he had to stay in bed. We'll see how he feels during the day, and we'll have to wait and see if he's good enough for the match on Saturday. We cannot decide that now. He's going to have to be... he could have been maybe a little bit involved today, but there is no reason to take any risks. So Bergvall sick in bed today with a cold/illness, and yeah, his appearance for Sweden during the midweek is up in doubt at the moment, which is unfortunate.
Shame for him because he's been in great form. I know he said he's not in top form. I'm assuming he means like in training and stuff.
Yeah.
But because if you've been watching him for Tottenham, you do know he is in absolutely tip-top form. So shame for him.
Player of the month.
Well, our player of the month, yeah. I think it's a shame, yeah, because he probably would have wanted to take that form into international duty and really cement a place in the first team for the Swedish national team. Obviously, this is going to hinder that, but I'm sure hopefully be fit for the second game. He'll get over that cold and it'll be all right.
Talking of Sonny, our first player played their first international game of the break, and Sonny took part in Korea's 1-1 draw with Oman today. Unfortunately, it was a really poor performance for the most part for Korea, but particularly Sonny, he really didn't have a good game, unfortunately. And he did say prior to the game that he felt in excellent physical condition, and he believed that he's in the best shape that he's ever been in, which is, strong words from Sonny, to be fair, regarding his physical kind of well-being. But poor performance from Sonny today.
Yeah, it was unfortunate because I never really got to grips with the game. I thought there were moments where he was threatening to really line it up, especially beginning of the second half. But then as the game wore on and Oman grew into the game, Sonny was becoming more and more ineffective, and in fact he made the mistake for the goal Oman scored late in the game. So that was really frustrating. And then in his kind of willingness to try and get back in the game, he was making mistakes, he was forcing things, and in the final third he was being a bit wasteful, unfortunately. So it wasn't a great day for Son. I'm sure he'll recover from it, but in terms of his comments for the game, interesting to hear him say that, and I think that's him implying, like, him trying to say, look, I've got a lot left in the tank, and I think maybe that's him saying I don't know if he's hinting at like leaving Tottenham, but I think that's probably him saying, like, even if I leave Tottenham, I feel the best I've ever felt. Like I'm not ready to go to one of these, Saudi or MLS or K-League, these kind of leagues. I'm still at the top of my game. That's kind of how he feels, and I think it was interesting to hear him talk about Ange, to say that Ange has taken these decisions to manage my minutes or rest me. I mean, I'm paraphrasing. That's pretty much what he said. And maybe that's contributed to him looking fresher. And I think he has. I know today wasn't a great day for him, but I think in general he has looked fresher in recent weeks when he's been managed. And I think most players at his age, obviously, there's people like Salah, complete freaks, that you have those kind of players who can seemingly just play every game without getting tired. But players that most players of Sonny's age do need to be a bit managed, and do need to manage their minutes a bit to keep them at their sharpest. And I do think he's been completely crucial points of the season overplayed. And it's no surprise to me that since we've had players back, I think he's looked a bit sharper.
Yeah, I kind of feel those comments are maybe in response to maybe fan criticism or criticism coming towards Sonny this season, or of late as well, saying, "Oh, he's 32, he can't do what he used to do." But
legs are gone, and people say
legs are gone, and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think he's trying to like say it in terms of an angle for maybe a future move or anything like that. I think it's more to do with criticism coming his way at the moment and being like, nah, this ain't the situation. My legs aren't gone. I'm in the best physical condition I've been in years or ever.
Well, yeah, and there were moments like against RZ where he's as sharp as I've seen in a while. He did running from his own box into the opposition box, or his own half into the opposition box, and things like that. Things we hadn't seen from Son for a long time. So it shows he's still capable of that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up, Fabrizio Romano has been talking about the Spurs manager situation, and he says Andoni Iraola is one of several managers being monitored by Tottenham, but no decision has been made yet on Ange Postecoglou's future, with Spurs' Europa League campaign still alive. I mean, nothing new really there. Just interesting that Romano is saying that Spurs are tracking Iraola.
Yeah, I think at this point, you can't deny it. I think they have to be some contingency plans for the end of the season in case things don't go the way for Ange, and in case things really break down as they have been doing. So I think that's the right thing to do. And unfortunately, it's not nice, and it's probably not nice for Ange to hear. But at the end of the day, we are where we are in the league, and we have been dumped out both cups. And we've only got Europa League to kind of focus on right now. And if we do end up going out to Frankfurt, however we do, then I think we do have to start looking at other managers with a view of potentially parting ways with Ange and instilling them in the summer. So I think, unfortunately, it's the right thing to do right now is to keep all your options open.
Yeah, I mean, you do kind of feel like when these kind of things come out and Spurs do start putting the feelers out for other managers and start tracking other managers, it does always just end up in one way. I mean, I can't remember a situation with any club really if it hasn't ended up that way, apart from Erik ten Hag when the hierarchy admitted that they should have sacked him that summer anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, usually it does go that way because usually this only happens when a manager's under pressure, and usually does go that way. So, but then again, it's all talk. I'm sure there's a list of names they have. It doesn't mean they're in talks with him. It just means there's a list of names, and I wouldn't it's a bit different situation to other ones. But obviously, Spurs have previous. Martin Jol talking to Ramos behind his back. That was like near the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Harry Redknapp, they brought him in. When Ramos got sacked, like they have previous for this. I don't think obviously this is going to happen this season.
And there was no chance that Spurs weren't speaking to Mourinho while Pochettino was still in the job as well.
Yeah, for sure. Seeing as they hired him a day later or that morning, so this is definitely Levy's remit to do this kind of thing. But I don't think there's any suggestion that actually in talks here at all.
Yeah. Next up, we're going to talk about potential incomings, and Spurs have reportedly made a £30 million bid for Wolves fullback Ryan Ait-Nouri, which is reports coming out of Africa. Ait-Nouri's contract at Molineux is expiring in 2026, which has led to Spurs making their move. I'd love him at the club, to be honest. I really like him as a player.
I like him too, and I think he's really done well in a struggling Wolves team. Being a left wing back, which is a bit of a different role to how we play our fullbacks currently, obviously depending on who the manager is next season, yada yada. But I think going forward provides something that very few fullbacks in the Premier League provide, with that real dribbling ability, that almost like a winger in that final third. He's really effective. I think there are question marks about him defensively and also in a back four. I don't know how he would do because he's just very used to playing with a back five, and he has that freedom to get forward and with that extra kind of defender behind him. So obviously I'm assuming if next season will probably be playing a back four, but maybe he can adjust to it. Obviously Porro adjusted to it. Obviously people have mixed feelings about him, but I think he's still a pretty good right back even at a back four. I think Ait-Nouri could probably adjust to it, but I think it would take a bit of a period to get used to it.
Yeah, it's definitely a position that Spurs need to invest in the summer. And when you're looking at Ait-Nouri, a Doggy on that side, and maybe Porro and Spence on that side, I mean, that's full-back options covered for a long time, isn't it?
I would say so.
Johnny Cardoso, Relevo saying Betis fear that Cardoso will depart in the summer, with Tottenham having that 25 million buy option. And they are already looking for possible replacements to come in the summer. Obviously, we know he's having a brilliant season at Betis, which seems to have grown from last season, why we did take up that buy option, the Giovanni Lo Celso deal. I do think this is a deal that Spurs will probably get done, but if we are going to get it done for the money that we've agreed, it has to happen in the first 2 weeks of the summer window. Yeah,
and I think probably what's impressed the Tottenham scouts when they've watched him is just against the best teams how good he's been. Like against Barca and Madrid, especially Madrid in their recent game, dominating that midfield against some of the world's best midfielders, and that would have been a kind of indication. Wow, this guy could really raise the ceiling. I still think he's having a great season. There's still kind of question marks about him being the finished article just yet, but he's still quite young. So I don't expect him to come in and I do probably expect him to improve us. Do I expect him to be of the level of the best in the world? Probably not yet, but the view would probably be at his age, maybe in a couple of years' time he would become that, but definitely raise the bar of what we've got in that position right now. So I think for that price, I think we're definitely going to go for it. I'll be surprised if we don't.
Yeah, and it's also a case of Bissouma as well. We need to find a suitor for Bissouma, and I do believe the plan come the summer window will probably be try and offload Bissouma for what you can and bring in Cardoso.
Mm-hmm.
And last but not least, the Bleacher Report had an exclusive on Fabio Paratici, and they say Paratici is now close to being appointed as AC Milan's sporting director. Daniel Levy has been trying to seal him for a return to Spurs once his ban was over in July, but it looks like he is on his way to Milan now.
I mean, not saying this isn't true. I'm just saying the Bleacher Report exclusives are nothing to get too excited about. But I think we know the troubles he's had here in terms of getting suspended, and now we've moved on with Johan Lang and stuff like that. And I always thought it was going to be a bit interesting situation once that ban is over for him. Do Tottenham reinstate him? is he going to try and work alongside Lang? Are we going to, back up Lang, seeing as we hide him and put our trust in him? I always thought, I don't see us just discarding Lang as much as the fans and are not happy with some of the stuff he's done. It doesn't necessarily mean that the club is. So I think he will be staying, and it's about whether that we feel like Fabio could work with him, or is Fabio going to be stepping on too many toes and things like that. So we'll have to wait and see. It looks like he could be on his way to Milan. It's not obviously the first report we've heard about that, and Milan are getting a very good sporting director, and it'd be a shame if we lose him, especially even in a consultancy role. But
they're getting they're not just getting a good sporting director; they're getting the best sporting director in world football, bar none, as a good friend of ours once told us. But yeah, I'm gutted with this, to be honest. I love Fabio Paratici. I love what he's done for the football club, and I think he did a very good job in the role. And I really wanted him to return as the sporting director at the end of the ban, but it looks like he is on his way back to Italy, which could be a little bit to the detriment of the club. But that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comments section below your thoughts regarding all the news stories we brought to you today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always,